such a mystery to people. They're like, I don't know what turns me on. Like, I hope I'll be turned on tonight. If we get in the bedroom, we close our eyes, like hope for the best. Like, why not be smart about it? We do that with every other area of our life.
Of Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back. I almost got over here today without my GPS.
I thought you were going to say on time.
I would never.
You got somewhere on time the other day. Tell them why. She was an on-time queen that night.
I was 1 minute early when I parked. Basically, our friend that was hosting had posted hours before a reel of this dessert board she made. And I was like, be right there.
I think that was the strongest move I've ever seen in my life. Post the menu on the internet first.
I know. Well, and I was on my period. It was the second day of my post-birth control period. I've always craved sweets on my period anyway. And I was like, I will be there at 7:30 on the dot. I was the first person there. I was like, give me those donuts.
I was 20 minutes late.
No, but I counted today. There was 10 turns for me to get here.
To me?
Yeah, like it's not that I'm not good at like navigating, knowing my way around, but I'm almost there. There's one turn that trips me up. When I'm coming here, I'm trying not to look at it, but I still have it on because I'm like, there's 10 fucking turns. That's a lot.
It's exciting for me, and I used to challenge myself to get to your place without it.
Yeah.
And I have a question for you. Do you ever take the same route to my house and home?
Never.
I've never taken the same route to your house and back home.
Yeah, it's not the same route. They're not putting me on the highway ever.
Oh, when I come to you, I take the 10 to the 405.
But I was just thinking like life before GPS. When I moved to Atlanta, brand new city, very hard to navigate. Like New York's so easy. It's a grid. You figure it out. You know, Atlanta was really tough. And I would just have like printed out MapQuest directions. I mean, I worked for this magazine. I was always going around and doing stuff and running errands. And I just was like fumbling around with printed out papers. I think a few years into that, I got like a Garmin for Christmas or some shit. But in high school, I mean, I grew up in a town with like so many back roads, windy roads. Like you just figured it out. But I'm like, how did we figure it out?
I don't know. I have no idea because every time I come to West Hollywood, not that this is applicable to most of you, but like there's 19 different routes to take and I'm never on the same one. Last night I was like up in the hills somewhere. I was like, how did we get here?
I know. I just think we used to be smarter. Like when you went to your friend's house, you were 16, you were in your car. I would go to my friend's house and I would be like, it's all these twists and turns, all these back roads around Smyrna, Delaware. Like, how did I know what to do?
You had 16 years of living there before that.
No, but like a new friend, there'd be like 5 turns. And like, how did I get there?
I did crazy stuff in Bloomington, Indiana when I lived there. I don't know how I got places.
But was your friend like, you turn right on, you know?
I think you use landmarks a lot more. You get to the Staples, you make a left. You get to like the BP, you make a right.
Staples in Smyrna, Delaware would be like, you get to the corner store.
The corner store.
Yeah, you get to.
I love the Walmart in Smyrna, Delaware, and I also. That's where I got my Christmas menu right here. I love that Walmart.
That's Dover. My family lives in Dover now, but I grew up in Smyrna.
That's where I get my Christmas appetizer menu every year.
I don't go there.
Okay.
There is a pretty dope Target though in Dover, right across from the Fridays, which we all know where I dated the bouncer.
Ashley, you told that story the other night. I was peeing my pants. I've heard that story 100 times.
When people don't know the story, they like don't know what's coming.
All right. Well, let's just thank a couple of our partners. Big shout out to Helix Sleep. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz and they'll match you to a mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/GGE and use the code HelixPartner. And thanks to Base for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Base luggage comes in multiple sizes and colors, and for shorter trips, the Weekender bag is super functional and even has a place to store your shoes separately. Get 15% off your first purchase at basetravel.com/GGE.
Thanks to Calm, the #1 mental wellness app for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Stress less, sleep more, relax. Calm's got everything you need for a happier and healthier you. Get 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/GGE. And thanks to Storyworth for sponsoring this episode. Storyworth helps you share stories and memories. This Father's Day, give all the dads in your life a meaningful gift you'll both cherish for years with Storyworth, and save $10 off your first purchase when you go to storyworth.com/GGE.
I think Father's Day is this weekend, right?
Yeah, because it's your birthday weekend.
Yeah. Go, girl.
It's your birthday. Yes, and it's your birthday, girl. And you looking like a present. That's Lizzo. Does he knows?
I don't know, but it is my birthday week. I'm very excited. We're going all over the place. We're going to New York and LA. I'm excited. We just got back from Ohio. So we were in Ohio all weekend for shows. Thank you guys for coming out. Amazing. I am today in Pittsburgh visiting my parents who I haven't seen in ages. And then we're going to go to New York. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I tell you this funny thing though. I can't stop thinking about it. So I cooked eggs this morning and we have a guest coming over to my house and it smells like eggs. And then I turned on this like you know, that
farts?
hotel scents. Yeah, it smells like farts. And then I turned on that hotel scents like diffuser.
Yeah.
So it smells like the one hotel and farts now inside
my
of my house. And
gosh.
it's disgusting. I can taste it.
I
just
feel
ran
like
in
it's like the hotel in Brisbane when you fuck that guy and it just was like budussy. It's like hotel smell with budussy. Also, if anyone doesn't know what budussy is, it's booty, dick, and pussy. I think it's Bernie Mac, R.I.P. It's from like an old 90s comedy.
I really fucked that guy so much.
I walked in. It's thick. It is. When you walk in a hotel room and someone's been fucking, it's thick in the air.
That was the most. I was like, she heard me all night. The bed moved halfway across the room. That guy fucked the literal dog shit out of me. I was like, she heard it for sure. I kept her up all night.
No. Yeah, that hotel must have had like stone walls.
Really thick. I thought that guy got me pregnant.
Well, what I was going to tell you, what we're talking about me getting over here, I've been like talking to this guy and he sends me music a lot. And so I was about to drive over here and I was like, where's my music for today? He's like, we haven't sent my playlist yet today. And I said, I'm about to start the trek to Rayna's house / the studio. And he said, trek seems dramatic. What is she, like 30 minutes away? I said, first of all, I am dramatic.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
But I was like, first of all, yeah, I am.
Now you know.
Now you knew that?
Yeah.
And he was like, and second, I'm not going to answer. Just, I'm dramatic.
Where's it? Do you send the music?
Right.
Where's
like,
the
where's
music?
where's my fucking music for today? I'm always on the hunt for new music, and he's been sending me a lot of stuff, and I'm like, this is good. Like, it's a value add to my life.
No man's ever sent me music.
What?
I've never requested it.
No guy's ever sent you a song.
Brian sends it to me sometimes, but it's usually to troll me about stuff. But that's it.
He's like, your video missed the deadline again. It's overdue. We love our videographer, but he
loves not meeting deadlines.
We love him as much as he hates deadlines.
Yes. We love him as much as he hates the truth.
That's gotta go.
No, it doesn't. What? It doesn't. He loves to be like, I'm exporting it right now. And 4 days later, he'll be like, you know, the Wi-Fi really just cut out. I'm also at the airport at the top of a mountain and it just finished downloading.
Maybe this is why he doesn't want to fuck you. You're out here calling him a liar.
He wants to fuck me.
He just has it.
I sent him some sexy pics last night. He wants it.
Yeah. Does he listen to this?
Sometimes. Recently, he has been listening. I was like, God damn it.
Does his mom listen?
Yeah, his mom listens. Last night, he asked me if she could have my email address.
I love his mom.
My personal one. I was like, yeah, let's get it popping.
When he misses a deadline, it's like, I want to tell his mom.
We should email her. What if we CC'd his mom? Hi, can you come get your son?
Come get this man. We know you raised him better. That's so funny. Start CCing your employees' parents. We love Tessa's parents, but we should CC them when we're like
saying something nice,
complimenting her. Yeah, like praising her. We should CC her parents. Just want to let you know she's doing great.
Well, the women that work for us never do anything wrong.
Oh my God.
It's just an ocean of right.
Anna, let me get a hold of Anna's parents. I'll be like, thank you for this blessing.
Anna is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Ashley. Ashley is a parent.
We'll CC her son. What did we ask her about her husband yesterday? We were on a Zoom call.
If she sucked his dick when she was pregnant.
That's what it was.
So someone said, I'm Googling if the blow gel for our company Vibes Only, we sell this incredible blow gel. Pina colada is the new flavor for summer. Someone said, I'm Googling if it's pregnancy safe. I'm going to say yes, just we are just making absolutely sure. There's no reason why it wouldn't be. It's all natural. It doesn't have anything in it that you can't have when you're pregnant. Also, you can just read the ingredient list.
Yeah.
I don't say that in a snarky way, but I know people want to be careful of what they put in their body. Yeah. And then we were on this Zoom, like, are people sucking dick when they're pregnant? And well, you said you wouldn't. I'm like, yes, you would. Well,
I was just like, I'm making this baby. I got to also get on my knees.
Well,
and
you love to suck dick.
And you in a business meeting go, I'm ready. You love to suck dick.
And then on the call was Rob on the call? I don't know. Because
Rob was on the call.
we could ask him
Ashley.
if he got his dick sucked when his wife was pregnant. But basically we were like, we saw Ashley's husband's head in the background of their like home office. We were like, did you get any blowjobs?
He doesn't even know he's being talked about.
Yeah. So I would say yes, but just look at that ingredient list and if there's anything, but we will research this and we'll let you guys know for sure. But I'm going to say give those pina colada blowjobs pregnant all you want.
Blowjobs, yeah. Okay. Also, just to like plug the company one more time, then we'll move on because we did our 1 year anniversary. Thank you guys. If you guys are going on like a baby moon or any trips, we do a get wet set that's really fun. So there's a bag that comes complimentary with it, and it has our lube and our blow gel and the massage oil, and it's really fun to take on trips. And then we have a new flavor coming kind of soon for summer.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. So yes, thank you for shopping the sale for the Vibes Only 1 year anniversary. And also just wanted to touch base on last week's episode. Loved it so much. And it was with professor and author Marcia Inhorn talking about why women freeze their eggs and the mating gap. And we just loved it so much. And we know you guys did too. And we got so many incredible messages from women that said they felt seen and this whole like, it's not me energy. So thank you for your messages and DMs as always. And we're glad you guys really love that episode. I loved it so much. It's like one of my top, all my episodes are just like having kids, not having kids. It's rough out here related, but just wanted to say that.
Well, you know, I was like on the cusp of tears the whole episode. I just felt like so validated. And Ashley and I live for that. We want the whole show to just validate however you guys want to live your lives.
Yeah. And then today we have Dr. Emily Morse back for the second time. She is an incredible book that we've been reading, so we can't wait to get to that interview. But I want to talk about something that we touched base on going to this girls' night the other night. And we just have this new friend group, and it started with Alyssa Amoroso, who's publicity on Instagram, and her podcast is Tea with Publicity. We've both been on it. And when I recorded with her, I guess maybe late summer, early fall in New York, she was getting ready to do the exact same thing that we did, which was like try LA out for 3 months, do an Airbnb. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're living the same life, just a few months apart. And then exactly the same as us. She was here for a couple months, was like, I'm going to stay, and got her forever home, 1 year lease. And she has this beautiful apartment. And I just connected with her immediately. But anyway, so she just had maybe like a month or so ago at this point, she had 5 girls over. So like 6 girls total. And just as like a girls' night. And we went over there. And when we walked in, this is one of the most beautiful, special things that women do. It's just when everyone vibes immediately and everyone's just like talking nonstop. And I've seen guys do that. I've seen guys like just bro out immediately. I think it's really cute and nice. And we see a lot of like male camaraderie at our shows now too, when we bring them up on stage and stuff like that. So it does happen with them, but just something about like when women get together that don't all know each other and immediately mesh and just start like, and everybody's talking and everybody's so much to talk about and we all have a lot in common and what we do for work. And it was just really great. Like Alyssa that night had said that she had like games and we never even got to the games because we were just talking all night. And so we went over 5 of the girls, actually the 5 single girls, last week at this point to watch the second part of the Vanderpump Rules finale. And I mean, we stayed till midnight. Rayna, I could not believe you stayed till midnight.
Well, also, it took me like 35 minutes to get home, and I was like, I can't drive at night. I'm terrified. I'm like so scared. And I just was having like the time of my life.
I
like
know.
you were like, I was surprised you stayed. And I was like, what was I gonna like pause this evening? You were making me laugh so hard. You were like running a bit, which you like told everybody was a bit, but like a story you used to tell on stage at our live shows. And I was like guttural laughing.
The Fridays guy and the whole thing about my dad. But yeah, it's all true, but I do it as a bit. So I'm like kind of like, I always feel weird when I'm like saying lines and tags and jokes in a storytelling atmosphere. But it is fun to tell like new friends stories because they don't know you like that, you know? But it was just so fun. And I just love it so much. And I'm like, we have this whole new group of girlfriends here that our friend Alyssa like decided to get together. And now we're on a group chat and it just feels really nice. And I love making girlfriends. My favorite thing to do.
It's my favorite thing in the world. And I said when I moved here and when I moved to New York, I do just say yes to everything. Even if I am going to have to drive home 35 minutes at midnight, late at night, it's like, I said I'm going to make friends. We have an episode about manifesting coming up. We're really excited about that. And so I said I'm going to make friends and I'm going to personally like manifest that I do this. But like part of manifesting to me is like taking the real actionable steps and putting myself in positions to meet people. And when we met all those girls that night, I had like been at a party all day long. I was tired. I didn't necessarily want to go out, but I was like, I said I want to make friends. I put this in the world. I have to take the steps to do it. So I'm like proud of us that like we keep doing that because it's easy to like not and just sit at home. And
Yeah.
I'm proud that we're like making the most of our time in LA.
I know. Also, I think people get tripped up and like, okay, well, now what? You know, can I like offshoot solo and have like relationships with the people from the group? And I'm like, you absolutely can. Like one of the girls I was like DMing with her last night. She went to this cool event. And I'm like, I want to go to one of these one time. Like you can kind of just start to message and be like, we should do this. It seems like we have this in common. Oh, you go to yoga? I do that too. Like we should go together. But can I just say that one of the funniest stories dating related that one of the girls in the group had, she's always dating. She dates a lot. And she was matching with this guy from a dating app. And they'd been talking. And then they exchanged numbers. And he texted her. And she realized they had already texted. And they had done a Zoom date during quarantine. That went poorly on her end. She didn't like him after the Zoom date.
She's like, I already rejected this company.
So she'd already rejected him. And she said that when he texted her this second round, the last text that was sent was the Zoom link in 2020.
That is fucking crazy.
And then they had Zoomed, and then she was like, I'm not into him. And they never spoke again after the Zoom. I couldn't get over the fact that someone that you think is new, you're excited about the potential of dating, texts you, and the last text was from the COVID Zoom dating era.
It's just like I have to reject them again. I got to do this again. And she really does date so much. I'm so impressed that she dates so much she doesn't even remember the people she has dates with.
It's Samantha Jones. I think that was a Sex and the City episode. She was like fucking the same people. She was like, I fucked everyone in Manhattan. I'm doing repeats now.
That's this. She's lived in LA for 7 years and she literally has dated all of LA. I'm shocked. Every time she's like, there's this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. But it is like a nice way to also make those offshoot friends. I feel like I'm like mansplaining friendship, but like
No,
I
people
checked in
ask
about
us
the
this
dates
stuff all the time.
Like I text her
Right.
all the time about her dates. I like can't get enough of it. I want to hear every sore and every score.
Well, I know, and then one of the other girls has this thing with this guy, and I like have been thinking about it, and I don't want to press her because I'm like, well, what if he hasn't reached out?
Press her.
Like, I want to check in.
I want to know. This is how you bond with women. Just talk about men.
No. Stop. That's not it. We're talking about other stuff too.
Yeah, we're talking about the Vanderpump Rules reunion. That's
Weren't
what
you
we-
proud of me? I was like sending memes.
Actually, I was so proud of you that you participated, that you wanted to come, that you actually like understood what was going on. You asked good, informed questions.
Thank you. I know. I wasn't just trying to ask like pandery, stupid questions. Like I really am part of the culture now.
I was really proud of you, and you were like, "Is James like always like this?" Or do people like? It's funny for you to be like, "Do people like him? Is he like always like this?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I have so much stuff to tell you. I've been so involved in the culture for 10 years."
10 years.
Somebody
Oh my gosh.
DM'd me and she was like, I'm really getting into Vanderpump now. Did I say this on the podcast? She was like, I'm watching season 1. Why is Stassi so mean? I'm like, I can't explain this to you. Don't make me do this.
Okay, let's take a quick break and then
Yeah.
we'll get right back into it. Okay, Father's Day. I am so excited to tell you about Storyworth. So a few years ago, I gave my dad Storyworth and we love it so much. His book came out so incredible. And I talked about this before that it was just so cute. The couple times I was at the house and he was working on his Storyworth questions and he was just like tapping away in his little home office. It was so cute.
I love him.
So this gift is just so unique and it has honestly made my dad understand how much he is loved. It shows how much we wanted to learn more about him. And this experience just really makes dads and anyone in your life feel really special and loved. So that's why we love the whole Storyworth experience and the stuff that we were able to find out about my dad. And we had done this for my mom before too, but now obviously Father's Day is coming up. So we're focusing on that. And Storyworth is offering $10 off your first purchase at storyworth.com/GGE. So what this is an online service that helps you and your loved ones connect through sharing stories and memories. So what you're going to do is you're going to sign up for it and make the purchase. And then every week Storyworth is going to email your dad, for example, again, we're talking about Father's Day, a thought-provoking question of your choice from a vast pool of possible options. So you will see the questions in advance. So if you are like, I don't really think that really applies to my dad, you can switch it out and you can really customize it to what you and the rest of your family members may want to learn about that particular family member. So things like, what's the bravest thing you've ever done? Or if you could see into the future, what would you want to find out? I'd mentioned this before that one of my favorites was what my mom remembers about her 30th birthday and she was with my dad and what my dad did for her. And I just thought that was like really cute too. And After 1 year, Storyworth compiles all those questions and stories, including photos, into a beautiful keepsake book the whole family can share for generations. And I've said this before as well, but it's not like this big, cheap looking by any stretch, like picture book that you might get, on some of those services, which those are great too. But this is really like a beautiful book that you can flip through and read, and it's just really special. It's not like giving scrapbook vibes, right? It's like book vibes. So we love it, and it's so fun. And, you can make multiple copies. For my parents, we obviously did 2 for me and Matt, and we just love it. There's no better gift. I can't recommend anything better, and honestly easier. Just like do it and sign up, and it just starts, you don't have to like go to all this trouble. So you can give all the dads in your life a meaningful gift you'll both cherish forever. Storyworth. Right now, for a limited time, you'll save $10 on your first purchase when you go to storyworth.com/GGE. That's STORYWORTH.com/GGE to save $10 on your first purchase. Storyworth.com/GGE.
I'm excited to talk about Helix because I'm obsessed. It's in every single room of mine. I love it so much. You guys, if you want to check it out, just go to helixsleep.com/GGE. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you with a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life, and you'll get 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. I'm obsessed with their mattresses. I'm obsessed with their pillows. It's just so comfortable to roll around on. I sleep on my back or my stomach or my side now, and it's just like comfortable for any one of those.
Whoa.
I know, I'm really rolling around.
Chaotic.
I'm
rolling around a lot too. The luxury of a king bed. You're like, what side am I going to sleep on tonight?
Everywhere I
Maybe
go,
I'm just going to
it's bed.
Starfish in the middle.
Yes. I can't even reach the end of it.
I'm like,
Everywhere
where's
I go.
Azul? He's in here. I can't tell.
Cannot find him. I know stuff gets lost in there. I like my Helix so much that I've actually never done this my entire life. I've been watching TV in bed when I eat. Like I bought a tray to bring food upstairs. Why? Why are you guys laughing?
There's people that eat in bed and there's people that don't.
I eat on the corner of the bed with a tray.
Okay, like you're in a hotel.
Yes, like I'm in a hotel, and I
okay.
don't bring it anywhere near the pillows. It's the other side of the bed.
Okay.
And I have a tray to protect everything, but it's like that's my comfy place to watch TV now, and I've never watched TV in bed in my whole
Rayna's
life.
in her eating in bed era.
Okay, I don't do it under the covers. That's crazy. What?
I think you do.
No, I don't.
You're
I also
absolute-
don't pee in the shower. And there's no reason to not be honest about it, okay? I don't do it.
Okay.
I don't pee in the shower.
Because you don't shower.
I shower every day. I hate it. It's constant.
You do not shower every day, Rayna. You would literally never.
I've been working out every day and I shower
There was
every day.
There was a leak in here, and Rayna used it as an excuse to not shower for 3 days. She was like, well, I'm not showering because I don't know. I don't want it to like leak.
And Ashley
in
goes, don't you have another shower? And I was like, it's not the point.
I was like, don't you have another
Tessa goes, how often do you shower? And I was like, if I had it my way, it would be twice a week.
Rayna misses quarantine so much.
I think every year, once a week, we should re-celebrate the quarantine and do it again. And I don't have to go anywhere or take showers or get manicures. Imagine a week without no manicures.
Oh my gosh, we have spiraled.
Helix. Helix, they offer 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe collection. So when you go online, they'll ask you, are you a side sleeper, back sleeper? Do you sleep with a partner? Do you sleep solo? They ask you all these questions. It takes 2 seconds. It's really super simple. And then they'll recommend a mattress for you based on their selection. And they offer a 100-night trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your Helix mattress, which is unbelievable. That is a crazy long warranty. And since you're so unique, they have tons of different things for your unique body. If you're looking for a mattress, you take the quiz, order the mattress you're matched to, and the mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't even need to go to a mattress store ever again. Super, super convenient. If you want to check it out, Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/GGE and use the code HelixPartner. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. And if you guys are newer to the show, we have a great website. It's girlsgottaeat.com, and it has all of our partners and all of our codes for everything, every episode we've ever done. So check that out.
Okay.
I don't know if you made eye contact with this yet. I saw you making eye contact with it. I wasn't sure. But I brought Dallas business card in here.
Right. So Dallas business card, guys, business card is back.
It's back.
But it's
made the journey.
like it never left.
It's kind of dirty. It's like,
Where has it been? In your bed.
It's
been masturbating to it. You saw him recently, by the way.
I did. We're going to talk about it. He offered me a clean, fresh card. And I was,
wait, where's my card?
And I was like, I want the old one that's kind of beat up.
No, the original.
Yeah, I want the original. So basically, we were in Dallas in January of 2022, and we did this show, and this guy came into the green room. He was with a friend of ours, and I thought he was hot, and then he gave me his business card, and I was like, I'm not trying to hire you. I want to fuck you. And
do you, though?
I do.
Well, are you going to?
I am.
Prove it.
You sound like him.
Does he listen to this? No. Oh my gosh.
Definitely not. He was in town on a layover for like 2 hours and was like, do you want to come meet me in Venice? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I like ran down to this place and had a burger with him and his friend. He really just,
What did he wear?
he wore a cowboy hat and I liked it. I was into
I said,
it.
Rayna, you did not go out with a guy in a cowboy hat in Venice. He's a real cowboy. You love cowboys so much.
I love like masculine men.
You love a cowboy. That's your specific vibe. I feel like in 2023.
The
Connecticut cowboy. Dallas business card cowboy.
The original bald guy with a beard, tattoos that like was the prototype for everything. He wears a cowboy hat sometimes. I love it.
I can feel it. Ooh, I miss him.
That is so crazy.
Hated him for years. Hope he's doing well.
I called him a couple days ago. He didn't call me back. He likes to play hard to get. Yeah, so Dallas business card guy was in town. He really does accept me for exactly what I am, which is crazy. So he was with a friend. They had gone to the hockey playoff, Dallas Stars hockey in
Good,
Vegas.
look at you.
Thank you so much. I showed interest in him. So they had a layover in LA and he was with his friend and his friend was pretty handsome and was telling me about, he's single.
What?
And I invited them to the show.
This is just now coming out.
Yes.
Okay. You guys get those Dallas tickets.
Yes.
This is going to be lit now.
I was like, can you come to the show? He said that he was free. And then the friend was like, what's your show about? So I started telling him he's very cute and he's single. And
Like my kind of type?
yeah.
What do you look like?
No facial hair.
Rayna, you know what I mean. How tall is he first of all?
First of all. I don't know if I ever saw him stand up.
The
I
fact
met
that
them
you
at-
wouldn't clock someone's height means it's giving not true friend.
I think he's not significantly tall. I'll text Dallas business card guy and ask how tall his friend is.
Dallas business card guy, he's adding a few inches with that cowboy hat. And cowboy boots is how guys do it when they want to get a couple inches in there.
I'm into it.
Listen, I'm not like, don't need some giantly tall guy,
I do.
but cowboys are deceiving. If they have a hat and a boot,
That is so true.
that's a good 5 inches.
It's a whole person on top of you. You're so right.
Tessa, weren't you saying you went out with a guy that his hair gave him a couple extra inches? Was that you? She's like, some of these guys, they're out here.
The Dallas, they get you because my dad wore boots when he lived in Dallas too. He finally hit like 5'6". Little cowboy boots.
Okay, so
anyways, the friend is single and he's very cute and he's a professor at a college. And I go, how old are you? And he tells me and I go, do you fuck your students? And it just came right out of my mouth and they both just kind of laughed. I like that he just accepts me for
How
who
old
I
is he?
am. He's 36.
Okay.
So I was like, it's not so crazy for a 21-year-old after they're your student anymore.
Yeah,
to, like,
there's
date
a hot story in the Vibes Only app about fucking your professor. It's a good one.
I thought of the vibes.
It's a fantasy everybody has.
Yeah. I'd love to fuck my 36-year-old
You
professor.
walk in your professor's office, just discuss you've been bad in class.
Yeah.
Ask for some extra credit.
Yeah, and then you bend me over, you finger me, and then you fuck me.
Yeah, you definitely got to get fingered first.
I think the first thing I ever masturbated to was this girl that was like late for class and she missed her test. She was in her professor's room. Yeah, this is one of the first things I ever masturbated to on the internet. It was a story that I read.
Okay, so you're back into Dallas business card guy. This is a guy that I've been pushing for so long. I mean, the biggest issue is just he lives in Dallas. He's probably not leaving Dallas, but so many things are aligned and like you guys have chemistry when you're together in person and you really love the way he lives his life. And
Yes, very much. I'm very inspired by how he lives his life. It's like the number one thing for me. He just does a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So he's going to be here for some stuff in July. So we'll
okay.
see.
Also, I am going to make you guys make out on stage in Dallas.
I can't wait. He did some disgusting things to me on stage the last time. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like picked me up.
that
and
show
spanked me.
was different.
Dallas is different.
Dallas was the most still to this day that we were 45 minutes in and I hadn't looked at the outline. Like it was totally off the rails. People were standing in the aisles. I was like, are there seats? Like people went crazy. There's just no rules.
Listen, we're going to have an insane opener. I'm just manifesting it right now.
Okay.
But I've already asked about it.
Okay.
So I'm excited. And get those tickets for Texas. We'll be in
Okay.
Austin too.
Yeah. Some of these shows are like almost sold out. But again, we have this whole fall tour. So girlsgottaeat.com. Okay. I am finally ready to share this story.
I'm so excited.
I told it in Chicago. I was like deciding if I was going to kind of save it for the live shows, but then I ultimately knew I was going to share it on the podcast and just wanted time to pass to make sure that like nothing was ever going to happen with this person and it's about whatever. So back in March, you know, a couple months ago at this point, I matched with this guy on Raya. Immediately I was really excited about him. Super tall, like loved his vibe, like the way he looked and what he did for a living. He seemed like a dope ass guy. And so we matched on Raya. He messaged me first and we went back and forth a couple times and then I like dropped my number. I like said something cute of like, here's my number if you like want to connect, whatever. And he texted me later that day, guess who, which I thought was really cute. We went back and forth. And I remember being out that night and texting with this guy and being like, I think this may actually be a thing, at least to go on like a date. We were going back and forth about the car I was going to buy and a little bit of arrogance I detected. Not a red flag, but a little bit of like, okay, I'm just clocking this. A little bit of arrogance. And at one point I kind of like jokingly called him out for mansplaining, but you know, whatever. We all mansplain here and there. So the conversation ended. Like I said, the last thing, it didn't really have like any sort of finality to it. I was like, okay, like didn't love it, but I was like, I'm a stranger, you know, we don't know each other. So a couple days later, I picked the conversation back up. I remember we were in Milwaukee and I like said something, picked the conversation back up and we went back and forth a couple times and ultimately I like said something that was really like sharing about my life, nothing like super vulnerable, but like a cute anecdote about like something about like me and you, whatever it was. And he just kind of left me hanging. So I was like, I just don't think this guy's interested. My gut feeling was telling me like, this guy's just fucking around. He's going to take the attention. He's not really interested in going out on a date, or he's this like super successful, confident guy. He would ask me out if he was interested. And he just kind of like has now left me unread, for lack of a better term, twice. And I'm over it. So I just left it at that. I was like, it's probably not my guy. I'm going to move on. And a few weeks went by. I'm not thinking about this person. Again, it was just like a stranger. And we're flying back from New York to LA and I see him on the flight.
It was fucking crazy. And I did not act cool, you guys. I think it's him. And I immediately turn around and make immediate eye contact with him. I did not act cool.
So he's just very recognizable because of his height, the way he looks. Like he's not just like your average standard, just white dude. So I'm like, I know that's him, right? So I'm telling you, Rayna's like, you know, it's tell your friend, you're like, don't look now. They look immediately, just stare him down. Yeah. So we were flying in like the Delta One cabin because it's a long flight. So we're in like seats 3 and 4. He was back in like 9. And we're looking back and I'm like, I don't know what to do here. But like, whatever, like, I'm just going to text, like, are you on this flight? You know? So I text him, are you on this flight from JFK to LAX? And he was like typing immediately. And he was like, depends. Like, what does the guy look like? You know? And then we went back and forth a little bit flirty. And he was like, why don't you wave back here? So I like waved back there. So we like waved at each other.
I kept looking at him. Ashley was like, bitch, stop, please.
But I'm also like, come up here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's crazy that somebody's on a flight and they get up and come say hi to you. It's hysterical.
Like 3A, 9D. Walk up here if you cared. I'm not walking back there. You come up here.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of like a, you know, light orange flag was he was weirdly a little too sexual in the flirtation on the plane. You didn't love it. We didn't love it. My overall vibe is this is not like the best guy, but I was like, I was willing to fuck around and find out. So he's like, let's say hi when we get off the plane, whatever. And I was like, okay, it's happening. And I had my plant with me. As you guys know, this was the flight that I flew with my plant. And I had like no makeup. Rayna goes, are you going to put makeup on? I was like, what makeup? What? It's like in my checked bag.
Just a little mascara.
So I took my glasses off at least. I did a lip.
Yeah.
All I had was a lip. So
you're so funny because I would do eye over lip any day.
I keep my lip in my purse. I don't have my mascara. My makeup's in my checked bag.
Okay.
So I am like excited. Like this, what a meet cute. You know what I mean? Like I immediately matched with that guy. I had a feeling like this is someone I am interested in. And we get off the plane. Again, we were in row 3. So we exit off the plane first. He's, you know, a number of people back. This was like, you know, 4 rows. It was like a significant amount of people exiting this cabin. And as I get off the plane, I see like a driver essentially type person standing by the door to go outside, like before you even walk down the jet bridge, with an iPad and this guy's last name and first initial on it. And I was like, okay, I know what that is. It's this like private terminal that you basically just get off the plane right there. It's like a fancy thing. It's like an upgraded expense, whatever. It's, you know, people have money. And so we've never done it. And so
I didn't have any idea what it was.
Just to be clear, I knew about it. Kate and Jay had done it before.
Right.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's him. And it just was like a thing that I kind of saw in passing. Like I randomly kind of knew his last name. Like I was like sharing the story with people because I thought it was funny. And my brother of all people was like, you should have stood there and hold the iPad. I was like, that is so funny.
I was like, your brother's better at hitting on people than we are.
But standing there would have been so creepy.
Well, it also took me a second to register what was happening because
Yeah.
I've never ever seen that before. And I didn't clock it.
Right. And there's also a world in which I didn't even see it, you know what I mean? And didn't register it. It was only his first initial, last name, you know, whatever. And so I just was like, oh, Rayna, I think he's about to exit the plane right there, you know? And so we just kept it moving. And I'm like, if this guy really wants to meet me enough, he'll run down the jet bridge, just like rom-com style.
I was so nervous.
Or like yell out to me or whatever. And that was like it. I was like, I can't believe I didn't hear from this person like after that. And I was like, that sucks. Fuck that guy. I already had the feeling he was like kind of an arrogant fuckboy type. And to go back and forth on all this, let's meet when we get off the plane, and then to not say anything, I was like, for this reason, I'm out. Don't care. That was on a Sunday.
It is crazy that he didn't get up and say hello on the plane. That's insane.
I know.
And you have hours and hours more of this flight. You're not just going to be like, hey, what's up?
His vibe, he sucks. He's just like, she's probably thinking she can come to me. You know what I mean? That's the energy.
It is. It's not normal behavior. It's like not somebody that you're going to enjoy. Like, I'm not surprised he didn't run up the jet bridge and be funny.
So that was a Sunday. I forgot about it again. Like I keep saying these, like, one more chance. And Tuesday, I'm at your house. I'm over here. I was getting ready to go out with someone else. So I was just like, you know, feeling myself, getting ready to go meet this other guy. I get a text from this guy. Can we properly hang out? And I was like, I don't know. So I let it go until the morning. He texted me like 5 p.m. The next morning, I wrote back, we can.
Yeah. Cute. Fine.
Sure, we can.
Yeah.
He hearted it immediately and then nothing.
This is insane behavior.
And then nothing.
This is insane.
Can we hang
behavior
out?
to me.
Yes. Nothing. I think he's really full of himself, or maybe it's like a deep insecurity. I think whatever it is, he wants someone else to do all the work, clearly, or he's just not interested at all. Like, it's weird.
I'm fascinated by the behavior. I don't understand. I don't know any man like that I'm friends with that wouldn't get up and think that was so funny. We're on the same flight. I don't know somebody that wouldn't text you and be like, I exited the plane at the jet bridge. Like, it's a natural way to text somebody, and he just didn't do it. And then he asked you to hang out and then was just out on it. I do not understand this behavior. And I am the first person to always like be a male apologist and be like, people are busy. You're a stranger. Blah, blah, blah. I always do that stuff. This is just fucking weird.
Oh, you know what else? This is another smoking gun of him just being the worst. When I reached out and said, are you on this plane? Do you remember? He goes, oh, I was just thinking about you. I'm going to look right at the camera. What? We haven't talked in weeks. I was a stranger to begin with. We have no shared memories. What were you thinking about?
At first,
No, you
I was
weren't.
like, Ashley, she's just like flirting through being funny. But then he like said a bunch of other stuff that I was like, oh, yeah.
It's just like a line he probably thinks works.
Yes.
I don't think he was being funny. I think he was like, this will get her.
No, I think that
this will make her come back here and suck my dick.
I was like, Ashley, of course it's a joke. But then the other stuff he said, I was like, oh, he's not cool. Or fun.
So after the thing, I was like, okay, now it's like really over. Famous last
fool
word.
me 19 times.
And I'm just, he's so tall. Okay, so and
That's why I let our video guy back in all the time.
And Rich, obviously, 10 days after that, like a week and a half after that, we're all over here on this epic girls' night with 8 girls and Rob.
Yeah.
And I was telling everyone the story because I just think this is such a hilarious story that he was on the flight. And I was like, what I want to do is just like one day send him a ghost emoji. And everyone was like, do it now. And the pressure at like 10 p.m., I just shot off that ghost emoji. He responds back immediately. He's 3 dots before I barely hit send. He writes, boo. I was telling Andrew Collin the story, and he goes, I kind of like him.
It's funny. He's like kind of an asshole. You're like, just be a little less of an asshole and I could like you. He crossed the threshold of like fun assholery.
No. Yeah. And he double texted, is this a booty call?
Which was weird
And
to me.
I was already turned off. The switch is completely off now. Like, and I never talk to him again. Like, my goal was to send a ghost emoji, have him respond, and then never talk to him again.
You be the ghost.
That's what happened. But you hear these things happening, and this actually happened to me in the wild of just like talking to someone, seeing them on a fucking plane. And then the way it all transpired was just crazy. And then I randomly went to his Instagram one day. I was like, wonder what that fucking guy's up to. And he had a post that was just the most cringe. I was like, what a bullet dodge. What if that was your man?
I was like, Ashley, I would have to like talk behind your back to people. if this was your man. Like, I don't even know if I could tell you how ick this was. Like, it would make me so uncomfortable. I'd text Kate and be like, do we talk to her about this?
Like, it was just so braggadocious, but sort of under the guise of humility. It was a mess. I was like, this guy is so full of himself.
It
like,
was under the guise of like mental health, him being like,
Right.
the whole thing was like, I've never defined myself. I've never defined what I am, but I've done this and this and that. He listed so many accomplishments.
So many
and
name
drops.
dropping.
He like tagged all these people and then he's like, don't ever let somebody tell you have to define yourself. Like, this is supposed to be inspirational.
yeah,
Shut
it's,
up.
you know, I think I have this guy kind of figured out. I mean, I think it comes from insecurity, but it's really like super self-important and super braggy and super arrogant. And whatever that comes from, that's just the vibe. And obviously I don't want it. And I don't know this person and I don't want to, but I just wanted to share the story finally on air.
I'm glad we told it. It makes me laugh so hard. It's so crazy. What are the odds you see that guy on a fucking
You were
plane?
turning around so much.
So much. I was being so obvious. And I told you he didn't see me, but he saw me. I looked back there like 5 times and he saw me 4 of them. We made eye contact.
The thing that I thought was going to be so funny was if I met him off the plane with that plant.
Yeah, and then you have like something
meet
to talk
someone,
about.
like with the plant. He
Yeah.
probably wouldn't even have thought the plant was cute, you know?
I was actually wondering if you were holding that sign, would he have been funny about it? Or if he would have been like, I don't get it.
Right.
Like, I was wondering if he would have even laughed at that.
I know. We'll never know.
I really got served this thing from Mykonos this morning. And I just like forgot how hot Greek men are. Just speaking of like men from the summer. And I just like want to go back there tomorrow.
I want to go back there off birth control and actually get pregnant. I'm kidding. But just be more horny. I was horny last year, but can you imagine me now?
No, I can't. No one's hornier than
I'm
you.
absolutely getting pregnant if I go back to Greece. I need to track my cycle if I go back there.
Definitely.
I can't be out
Covered
there.
in cum in Grace. I want to go back. I'm horny just thinking about it.
Do you think we're going to see any guys in Cabo?
Ew, no.
Oh.
Who are you going to see there?
I don't know.
Frank the Tank from Tampa?
We're staying in a nice...
Yeah, also, how are we going to meet people?
We can Bagatelle.
Oh, that's right. We are going out to dinner the first night, just like a girls' trip.
Yeah.
Or a girls' dinner. Okay, take it back. Maybe.
Maybe. There'll be some like hot bouncer type
Now you're speaking my language.
driver.
Boat driver. If he used to be a bouncer and now is a boat driver, that really makes
you
my
got
panties
dibs.
drop.
Ooh. It makes your bikini bottoms drop.
I love getting fucked on a boat.
What?
All just
When have you been fucked
What
on
do
a
you mean,
boat?
what?
When did you fuck on a boat?
I used to fuck on a boat a lot in college. There was a lake like in Bloomington, Indiana. I used to fuck on this boat.
What?
And then I used to fuck in Pittsburgh on this boat. On the river.
No, on a riverboat?
Yes.
On a pontoon?
The
Rayna,
Monongahela.
The Monongahela. I know the Monongahela.
I cannot believe you knew a word I was trying to.
Oh, I know.
Wait, how do you say it?
Monongahela.
The Monongahela. It's a river, you guys.
Rayna, did you fuck on a pontoon?
No, there was a downstairs.
Okay.
It wasn't like that boat you rented for us that one time.
We don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. I was trying to block it out.
Can't let me get athlete's foot.
We took a boat one time in Miami. It was a huge miss. We didn't even take our bikini cover-ups off because we were like, we're going to get tetanus or something.
Yeah, we have full tennis shoes on a boat.
Yeah, we were like, don't touch anything.
Don't touch the railings.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a great goal.
To go to
I mean,
Greece?
it's one of our feral girl summer goals is to fuck on a boat.
I just like being like kind of out of sorts and wet, and it's just like goes right in.
I don't think I ever have.
Never had sex like in the bathroom of a boat. Crazy.
In the bathroom of a boat? Rayna, the bathroom of a boat's like an airplane bathroom. They're so tiny.
I find room.
What about a bedroom of a boat?
The one that I fucked in the Monongahela. Monongahela.
Rayna,
I feel like we're Cal.
wrap it up.
Try to like say a word and then you short circuit.
Our guest is here. You're like Mary. You're like, we, Okay.
We're going to thank our final partners and then jump into it with Emily.
I am telling you guys about Calm. So in today's fast-paced world, taking care of your mental health is more important than ever. And this is an app that I open and use every single day. If you are looking to reduce stress, increase mindfulness, improve your overall well-being, you need Calm. So Calm gives you everything you need to prioritize your mental health and wellness. Go to calm.com/GGE to get a special offer of 40% off your Calm premium subscription, and new content is added every week. So I'm going to do what I sometimes do when I tell you about Calm and just go into the app. I've been getting their push notifications and they are amazing. Like they do a few a week and it's just always like a reminder that you might need that reset. They're doing a great job. We also have an app and we do push notifications too. So I love the soundscapes. The Calm Island is the one that I always am listening to when I'm like out on the road to fall asleep. They have a crackling fireplace, which we love. Remember that fireplace nap? We went into this hotel. This was in Sacramento and the fireplace was on the screen, like the TV in the hotel room. And that sound really just puts me to sleep.
I used to throw it on YouTube, but you can get it on the app now.
Yeah. And then the thing I love, they have these afternoon resets. Like there's good playlists and there's just meditations. And listen, we know how Rayna feels about meditation, but I personally love meditation. And this is a great place to start. It's not a thing that needs to be intimidating to you or super challenging or you need to be scared to try it. It's really easy to get in here. There's stuff with Jay Shetty. There is mental fitness with LeBron James. And of course, there's sleep stories. And I love this. Uncovering Purpose at Work. That's a 5-minute meditation with Jay Shetty. And of course, the music, soundscapes, all the things are stuff for kids, which we love. And, you know, unfortunately, kids have a lot of anxiety these days, more than we really had when we were growing up. And so this is a great app for kids as well. We just love everything about it. And we have a deal for you guys. Again, for listeners of the show, Calm is offering an exclusive offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/GGE. Go to calm.com/GGE for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library.
And Ashley and I are constantly in an airport. We are never not traveling. And so I think a lot about luggage and functionality. And I'm an overpacker and I want to make sure that things are really organized and they're easy to find. So we love our base pieces and we have an offer for you. You can go to basetravel.com/GGE for 15% off your first purchase. This is a company created by Shay Mitchell. Everything is really sleek. It's affordable, beautiful, the luggage and the accessories. Again, Ashley and I are just like never not traveling. So it's really important for me to just have everything be extremely organized, to have a place for my shoes, a place for my underwear. They've thought of really everything. They have 360-degree gliding wheels, a cushioned handle, built-in weight indicator so you always know how much it weighs, washable bags for your dirty clothes, and all the interior pockets you will ever need to keep everything organized. And their luggage comes with multiple sizes and colors. We are obsessed with their weekender bag. It is the perfect size to just throw stuff in for the weekend.
This color. The
There's
Citron
a neon green bag.
a carry-on roller. I think I might literally buy that right now. Their colors are really different. Like they're creamy. Like the beige color is unlike anything I've ever seen. You know, like their colorways. This Citron, I mean, I'm dying. It matches your nails.
Oh my God.
Look, they have it there too. They have an orange, this creamsicle color.
I'm beyond
Look at that.
I'm
we have to get
obsessed with
that.
the green luggage. Oh my
Yeah.
God. The pink is gorgeous. So tons of colors to choose from. They really just make packing such a breeze. And we'll get you guys a little discount. Right now, Base is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase by visiting basetravel.com/GGE. Go to basetravel.com/GGE for 15% off your first purchase. And that is BEIS travel.com/GGE.
And what did our friend Anushka ask recently? Cosmetic bag. And I was like,
Adopt kit?
stuff a lot of like pockets organizers. Like I love it for that too.
I love it too. And I don't have that. And as soon as you sent it, I looked it up and I was like, ooh, let me get some of that.
Yeah.
So check it out, guys. And we are really excited to get into it with Emily now.
Okay.
We are very excited to introduce and welcome back our guest for today. She is a doctor of human sexuality and the host of the award-winning #1 sexuality podcast, Sex with Emily, which has been on air for nearly 2 decades. She is really an icon. She is a masterclass instructor on sex and communication and was previously a radio host and executive producer on SiriusXM. She's been profiled by the New York Times, Forbes, Men's Health. She's been featured on the Today Show, Conan, Entertainment Tonight, and this podcast. Her new book, Smart Sex, comes out and you can get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Please welcome back to the show, Emily Morse.
So excited to be here at your studio in LA.
I know.
So exciting.
We're neighbors.
I know. I love this.
Emily, what is it like to be like truly the icon in this space? Like, do you feel like that?
I don't walk around feeling like anything. Be like, oh, you're famous. You're so like I don't think like that. But I love what I do. I love talking about sex. I love helping people. I feel like we still all need this information.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels good that we still want to talk about it. And there's so much more to say. So yeah, I'm glad.
I guess just
it.
like you're really a pioneer, like a podcast in 2005, which was like
crazy.
what people didn't know that term. And you would just have been talking about this for so long.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't say taboo
It is though.
in the early 2000s.
It
Like
was.
I guess, yeah, like Sex and the City was kind of ahead of its time. You were like in that era of like, this just wasn't day-to-day conversation between everybody.
No, not at all.
And people still have so many questions. So I browse your topics sometimes when I'm going to pick one of your episodes, and I'm like, there's still so much to talk about.
Yeah.
There's all these.
Done.
We don't have that many holes, but there's so many frontiers to explore. It's crazy.
Crazy. I'm still learning.
Well, you know what
you're never done.
Yeah.
And
Emily
that's
was
what's so cool about sex.
Yeah.
It was so fascinating to me reading your book because you were writing about how when you were 35, you started exploring this. And I was like, that must be a typo. Because I love stories about people that like get to a certain place in their life and you think that their careers are set. This is what they're going to be. And you were like at 35, totally different new course of action.
Exactly. Yeah. I was 35 years old. I was having sex. I'd been sexual. I was not in this career. I was not a sex expert. I was working in politics and film and doing different things. But I was like, okay, I'm going on another date with another guy. I'm dating someone for a few months, let's say 6 to 9 months. And the sex just wasn't as great as it was in the beginning, meaning that passion, that excitement, which I didn't realize in every relationship after a year and a half, the sex is going to be as great at the beginning. But anyway, I was having sex, wasn't great. Seemed like the guy was always like having a really good time.
Yeah.
And I was not. And I was faking orgasms. And I thought there's got to be more to this than that. And the other thing that I was thinking was not only was sex disappointing and I knew it could be better, why can't I learn how to be great at everything else but sex? There's like no information. And you think about it, and online there was a lot of information. But the second thing was that I kept getting into relationships, but knowing that I didn't really have marriage and family on my bucket list. I love dating. I love meeting men. I love the experience. I love adventure. So how do you keep dating when you don't have the same goals as other people? And then I thought, well, maybe I'll find something else out right now. Like maybe by starting to interview people about their sex life, not only will I find how to not be faking orgasms, but what is the secret to a long-term relationship? Because maybe I'm missing out. Maybe there's something, And so that's been my journey. And I went back to grad school and got my doctorate. And here we are 18 years later.
I love this story so much. I love somebody that pivots in life.
Pivot. You got to pivot.
That aside of what is like amazing and admirable, but just this sex thing at 35, where all the things that were going through your head, and you explain this in the book, and I love the way the book is written. It's really conversational. You feel like you're just hearing it straight from you, which you are. But just that, what am I missing here? And I love that you were like, I was great in bed as like a performer.
Yeah, it was performatively.
You're like, I'm like arching my back and I'm faking these amazing orgasms, but like secretly wondering like, what the fuck? Is this really it?
Yeah.
So
exactly. Disappointing.
I love the journey you went on to be like, this can't be it.
I always talk about how fingering is like so misleading because we were like told our whole lives to like enjoy fingering, and guys would have their fingers inside of me, and I would be like, but there's this button outside.
Exactly.
And when I touch the button outside, I love it, but I don't know how to explain to people that you got to touch the button, my clit. And there was so much misinformation that I'd watch porn and I'd be like, I don't fuck like that. That doesn't look fun to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all misleading. And they're like, yeah, dig around for change up there. Like, what are you doing? It does not feel good.
And now we have these nails. I'm like, I can't get in there.
No, I know.
Definitely
It's the
can't get in the
whole
butt.
Well, you were talking about
thing. Ooh, there's a lot of butts.
the G spot. I was like, I can't get in there right now. Like,
Right. Well, okay. You could put a cotton ball and a glove over your nails. If you,
Feels like a lot of work.
no, I feel great.
You want to do it?
it is. I'm
Cotton
just
ball?
saying, but I get this question all the time. If you have long nails and you want to like go inside of a hole,
Yeah.
whatever hole.
Smart. Okay.
Yeah. So you put a little cotton ball around the nail, and then you could use like a nitrate glove. Just saying, it's a lot of work, but don't want to ruin the manicure.
funny. You're with a guy. You're like, babe, I'm going in. And you just put the glove
You
on.
put the surgical glove.
the cotton with unreached nail.
Maybe it's his kink. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So you wrote this book, Smart Sex. Tell us the idea for the book.
Okay. So Smart Sex, How to Boost Your Sex IQ, Own Your Pleasure. So what happened is I was writing this book because like I said, I've been doing Sex with Emily podcast for almost 20 years, and I've got a lot of tips. I've got a lot of advice, and I realized that when people come to me, I know with certainty I can answer any sex question that you have. Really, like, it help you take the next step. I don't often sit with people on the show for hours and see patients anymore. And so I'm writing the book and it's quick tips. I'm like, but at the end of the day, having better sex isn't about a quick tip. Like, I could give you the right vibrator. You guys could too. I could give you the right sex position, and that would help you. But really, it's holistic. So when I was writing it, I came up with these 5 pillars of sexual intelligence, because really sex is holistic. It's not one thing. It's about your overall health and wellness. And I think there's been this disconnect that sex has been siloed on its own. It's not part of health and wellness. It's like the bastard child of wellness. And just recently, I've been realizing, like, people will be like, oh, we want to have a sex person at our health conference. Like, that'll be fun and titillating. And now it's even becoming more and more mainstream a little bit. But so in these pillars, people can go in here and realize that if you've got a sex challenge in your life, it could be because one of these 5 things are keeping you from having the sex that you want. And it helps you figure it out for yourself.
I love it.
I love this notion too of like, I can help you to like do better positions, or I can teach you how to put some cotton on your finger, but like
exactly. Which she'll never do.
I'm thinking about it. I mean, I have a lot of
If
stuff
you're
in
a
my naughty
pitch,
drawer.
Yeah. You're like, didn't think anal was in the car, like penetrating or whatever, fingering, but there we go.
One of my best friends is just a straight G-spot masturbator. Like we were on a vacation and she was like, I'll be right back. And she went and did like a quick Pilates flow and like made herself come. And she just goes in and like does the thing. And like, that's not how I get myself off with my fingers, but she's a very like in and out. And she was like, she wouldn't sign up for these nails. She's like, I couldn't
it's a hit.
get my rocks off.
Okay. I know that you can like take one thing and do a quick fix, but it is sort of this holistic, how you think about sex, how you communicate about sex, how you think about your own body.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the pillars.
Okay. So the first pillar is embodiment. How in my body am I when I'm having sex with someone? Am I thinking about the bills I didn't pay? Am I worried that the kids are going to come in? Am I thinking about my thighs? Am I worried if I've been looking good? Or am I present? Am I feeling what it feels like to have my partner hands touching my body? Do I feel their breath on me? Am I feeling? Am I embodied? Am I present? And the second one is health, your mental health and your physical health, which is so deeply related to your sexual health, meaning for your mental health, am I on a certain medication that's going to impact my ability to orgasm? I should know that. Am I depressed? Am I on an antidepressant or a birth control pill? And then your physical health. People don't often realize that if you're not moving your body, you're probably going to have a blood flow problem. Well, when you have a blood flow problem, you might not get an erection. Your clitoris won't swell with as much blood. So it's like that's part of it. Mental health, physical health. And then we've got self-awareness. Do I know myself? Do I know what turns me on? Have I been paying attention to my sex life the last few years? What are my kinks? What turns me on? I have a lot of tools in the book to help people figure that out because a lot of us are not really that self-aware. We don't go back and go, oh, wait, that was hot. Why was that hot? And like reverse engineer it to find what really turned you on. And then there's self-acceptance. That's really confidence. Do I accept my body where I'm at today so I can have sex? Do I accept how much experience I have? Do I accept myself? That's a journey, not a destination. And the fifth one is collaboration. How well do I communicate with my partner? Am I comfortable asking for what I want in bed? Am I comfortable saying like, this is what I need, this isn't what I want? And also, am I comfortable just talking about sex in general? Like we are normalizing that too.
Yeah.
Those are the pillars.
I really feel like the embodiment is so important. And one of the quotes in the book was the more often you realize you're not embodied, the closer you're getting to being more embodied, which I love that because I feel like people could beat themselves up and like, I'm not getting it. Like my brain and my body aren't connected in the way it should be. And it's like the first step is realizing the problem. At least you can work from there. So obviously that's the first thing. And it's interesting that you have a whole thing on hormones and birth control. And I've just been off of birth control after 20 years for 6 weeks and feel like a different person. My sex drive is up. Like I'm more lubricated. It's been like my best life.
Wow.
It's changed
like,
my life.
Hello, LA. Goodbye, birth control pill. Your whole life is changing.
And I know that's not everybody's experience. I want to be super clear. But for me,
I love that you are expressing that you're sharing that because it's really important for people to know that was just a pill we all just took. No one told us to think about it. I was like, that's nothing.
Right.
And then we find out for many, it has negative impacts.
I like that you talk about mindfulness and embodiment, but I feel like recently a lot of people have been sharing with me that they have a hard time being present for sex. I feel like more so than ever, so many of us have just 1,000 things going on, and it's so championed in society to be so busy and to have so much going on and to have professional success and kids and a partner. And how could you ever be present during sex? It's hard to like de-stress and come back down to where you want to actually enjoy your pleasure, prioritize somebody else's. So I feel like I've just been hearing this a lot more, that people are having a hard time being like present and mindful during sex.
Yeah.
what are some of your tips for that? If we just want to focus on that.
That's a big one. Yeah. No. Okay. So I would say that's really, really common. And I love that you brought up, like, it's so true. Even when you meditate, do you guys have a meditation practice or do you try and meditate? It's hard to meditate.
I do. Rayna does it.
We all try. I hate to say that. Like who the fuck, everyone wants to meditate.
I have a coffee outside in the morning. I make my to-do list and I work out, and that's meditative.
Well, she knows how to check out really well. Like Rayna will put her
good.
phone away and she'll just self-care and
That's her own meditation. So
I'm into breath work.
yeah, breath work's amazing.
Yeah.
I did breath work last night. I was like, it's always life-changing when I do it. So all that stuff is important. So we all talk about that. And it is true. Just realizing first off that you're disconnected during sex is such a great first step. And then knowing like, I'm going to give you some tips here, but you'll get connected and then you'll get disconnected again. And that's okay. So as many times as you just keep coming back to it. So one of my top tips, which anyone could do literally right now, if you're having sex and listening, people probably listen to your podcast. You turn them on and have sex.
Probably not my voice.
Okay,
No.
maybe they get inspired.
But it turns people on. Like if they're in the car and they're listening to an episode about sex with their partner, yeah, they're like,
maybe they'll pull over.
Yeah.
So this is what you do.
A friend of mine told me she did that with her husband.
There you
Okay.
go. I love it.
my
The
voice.
5 senses. This is just the easiest way to ground yourself in the moment. Okay. So let's say you're like, oh my God, I'm distracted. I'm worried. Am I doing the right thing? If you immediately just say, what am I smelling? Just think about it. You go through yours, like, what am I smelling? Okay. I always light this candle. Every time I have sex, I have like this vanilla candle. So I smell the candle. What am I seeing? I'm seeing my partner's chest. What am I feeling? To put my hand on their chest. What am I tasting? Their lips, the gum in my mouth still. I got to spit that out. Whatever is happening. What am I hearing? I'm hearing partner's breath or the music. And then you go through all 5. And then you realize that when you are present with those senses, you literally can't be anywhere else. Anxiety, worry, stress doesn't live in the present moment. And those senses ground you. So the more even if you're driving in the car and you're stressed, you could say like, my hands are on the wheel. I'm chewing gum. I'm hearing, and you go through the loop of the senses. And even if you only get to 3 of them, and then you get back to the moment. So that's a great way. That's one tip.
I love that.
That's one that I love, that I just think I have to do that too. Like just people think, oh, you must know everything. It's like, it is a practice. I have to practice being in the moment. Another thing is when I'm not as connected during sex, or I'm feeling like, do you guys ever find this, that you start having sex with someone and at first it's great, you're making out, and then you're like, how did we get naked already? Or like, why is this going so fast?
It's my problem all the time. I race to penetrative sex.
I don't wear underwear. So I'm like, all of a sudden my pussy's out. Like you just took my pants up. Like that's why I've been wanting to bring underwear back. So I have a little more of a foreplay practice.
Totally. I've gotten that feedback before that I am just,
You're fast, you're speedy.
and listen, I love oral sex. Like I love it so much. It turns me, I'll masturbate to the thought of giving oral sex, but I race to penetrative sex.
You love penetrative sex.
I love it. I don't care about my boobs that much. I don't care if somebody goes down on me. I want to like suck a dick and then fuck.
I want someone to touch my entire body.
Say that again? You have an orgasm during penetrative sex.
Absolutely. Every time.
See, that's amazing.
But it took me a lot of years to know my body and how to move it. So
only like 20% of women, maybe 17, have one during
I
penetration.
worked on it though. I want to normalize for other people that's like not normal.
Totally.
I know what position to get my body in. I need to be with somebody I trust. Like it's not always.
It's mental too. It's not the penis in my vulva. It's the clitoral stimulation for one when I'm on top, and then all the other senses and things. So I just want to make that clear because I'm the same as Rayna. I can usually get off pretty easy just by penetrative sex, but I'm big on foreplay. I want you to touch my entire body, like head to toe, feel my skin, like stroke me up and down, like every inch of my body before we do anything.
That's good self-knowledge. See, that's one of the pillars, right? Like you know yourself. And you know it feels good. And then you can like, if that's not happening, you can think, oh, we rushed to sex. I didn't get my nipples touched. You know what I mean? Like it's just that awareness and that knowledge is helpful. So learning your own body to have orgasms is great. And that's what I want everyone to do, just to figure out like, do you need a vibrator? Do you need oral sex? A lot of us do need that. So anyway, sex goes too fast. Sometimes for me, what I recommend people to do is it's okay to slow it down, to say, oh, you know what? Let's just stop for a minute. Like, let's take a deep breath. And sometimes I just ground breath work. My partner and I will just like take a few breaths. And he totally knows now with me what that means. I'm like, let's just breathe. Look into each other's eyes. We'll just breathe. And then we reset. And then we go back to it. And I think maybe why I wouldn't have done that in the past is, and I write about this in Smart Sex, is I used to think that it was not okay to stop sex. Like once it gets going, he's going to get blue balls, which is not a thing.
Right.
Like you're going to be in trouble. Like something's going to happen. I'm not a good girl. This is terrible. And like you're really a bad lover if you stop the sex because they're so excited. Their penises, they're ready to go. And I just realized that when I can reset and take a pause and then go back to it, that also helps me get back into the game.
Okay.
100%. I've had so many sexual experiences that have lasted a long time to get to the finale.
Yeah.
Stop, start again, do a thing.
Exactly.
You
Stop
know?
it. That's so linear. Like make sandwich, who cares?
Yeah,
like,
get in the shower, whatever. Yeah.
You got to keep going. Like, yeah.
I want to talk about self-acceptance a little bit. People have written into the show for years that Ashley's like the most confident person ever. And
Well, I think it used to be more of a dig when I had my
like, why?
like with my old face. I think they're like, she's really confident.
What do you mean?
She had a different nose before.
I had a different face. I look different now. We're joking, but I do think 5 years ago, people were like, she's really confident looking like that. No, I'm gonna
give you a compliment.
I am confident, but I have insecurities. Like we all do.
Yeah, that's why you cut your nose off. No, I'm going to give you a compliment. So I think this self-acceptance, I think that you actually probably have an easier time having longer periods of sex because you really love your body and you want somebody to like touch all the parts of your body.
Oh, right.
You have like very smooth skin. Like I feel like people really get in their heads. Like I have bumps on the back of my arm and I'm like, is that going to feel weird to somebody? Like I get in my head about like my body and what it looks like. And I think I look great and I'm proud of my body most of the time. But sometimes you're bloated, you're on your period, you just don't feel good about yourself. And it really impedes the ability to make the experience longer, I think, because you spend less time like touching, looking, tasting, all the things.
Yeah.
So do you have tips for like sort of self-acceptance?
I do, because that's huge. Body confidence, being present with that. Yeah. And I have a lot of, sometimes I'm feeling great, sometimes not so great. And so, I mean, a few exercises, realizing if someone's with you, first off, and I can tell you this from all the years of talking to so many listeners, that I've never once, and men are pretty honest with me, half my audience is men. So they tell me everything. And they're never like, well, I liked her, but she had this weird bump on her elbow. Or I liked her and her left boob was bigger than her right boob, so we broke up. Because, or I liked her, but then she gained 10 pounds. Like that just has never happened. And they're very honest with me. Not that it can't happen. But the majority of what we're worried about, no one else is thinking of at all. So the stuff that's like setting us back and like, oh my God, this leg and this thing, people are so happy to be like, if they're in bed with you, like good chance they're psyched, they're there and you guys are in it together and they're not thinking any of that. Okay. So that's just one thing. And the other thing is just if we are walking around all day and we're not feeling great in our body and we're doing negative talk like, oh God, I got to lose weight or I don't want to see myself naked. If that's your experience of yourself with your body, and then you're in a bedroom with somebody and then the first time you're like naked is there, like you haven't been maybe masturbating, you haven't been touching yourself, you're hating yourself. It's going to be really hard to get that confidence up in that moment if everything you've been doing up to that point has been taking away from that confidence. So a few things you can do. And again, this stuff really works. So I don't mean to be like another journaling thing or another whatever, but this stuff, I laugh at that too. But I have affirmations in the notes on my phone that are like, I am deserving, whatever I'm working on. But for somebody who's like, I am a, sexual being deserving of pleasure and love. My body feels great when touched this way. I deserve all the pleasure in the world. Like whatever it is, that stuff's really helpful. Another thing is just exposure exercises, we call it. And that's taking some time alone and being naked by yourself in your room, looking at the mirror. Is that what you do? She's not.
No. I love it. I love all of this.
I thought you were like, I did that this morning.
Oh, well, I'm having an issue with looking at myself naked in the mirror with my new home here in LA. I'm trying to figure out where to put the mirror. I used to just like,
because people can see directly into your house.
Yeah. So anyway, it's something I'm dealing with privately.
With blinds.
Well, I've realized I used to be naked in the mirror a lot. Not like admiring, but just you look at yourself naked. We all look at ourselves naked.
I blow my hair dry naked every day.
Okay,
so I like to look
good.
at myself naked every day.
And then do you ever look at yourself and say things like what you like about yourself? Because that's another one of the practices is getting comfortable seeing yourself naked. Really, it's a sense of body worshiping yourself, really putting the right lotions, the good lotions on that make you feel good. And taking a mirror, if you haven't looked between your legs yet, and looking at your body and saying like, this is an amazing, like, look what it can do. Because if you take a vibrator at your fingers and you're like, wow, look how my clitoris swells. I mean, look what it does is you get to become the expert in your own body and, learning to love it and working in some of those exercises is helpful.
I love this. And you talk in the book about how like your brain is like your strongest sex organ. And all these things are just fighting against your own self-talk, your own self-doubt, your own inability to be present. And like, if you can master that, and you can't because it's your brain, it's going to get so much better in the bedroom.
Better, exactly.
You talk about some, I don't know if you call them visualizations, but that's what they felt like to me. And one that I loved so much was if you're insecure about someone going down on you and you basically masturbate and picture someone going down on you. And the more you can really visualize it, fantasize about it, normalize it in your own brain before there's actually a person down there. I just love that because we get that a lot. I don't want someone going down there. I'm worried about how I look or smell or whatever it may be. And so do whatever you're doing to masturbate and think about that to make that your reality.
I'm really glad you brought that up because in the oral sex chapter, I had to spend a lot of time on just receiving because so many women have that shame around receiving. I'm like, girl, you're going to love it once you get past that. Like someone between your legs because they want to be there, but we have to be open. And so, to even picture it is a great, or visualize what you want. Yeah. When you're masturbating, I think it's important to do that and visualize the pleasure that you deserve and that you're having. And also the confidence thing, I think is masturbation does help with that.
Okay. So. Can we talk about pleasure thieves?
Yes.
And this concept? Okay. And why do they impede a sexual joy?
Yes. This is what's getting in the way of our pleasure. The first one is stress. anxiety, if you are living a stressful life, going from one thing to the next, busy working like we all are, there's so much on our to-do list, it's really hard to find time for pleasure. You have to prioritize it. It has to be on your calendar like everything else. I mean, really, like the time that you take to do anything pleasurable in life. It doesn't have to just be sex. It could be like going for a hike, walking with friends, just doing the things that make you feel good. But if we have a lot of too much stress and anxiety, again, people often don't realize the connection there, but that is probably one of the biggest killers of our sex drive. And then there's trauma. Trauma is a really big one. If you've had any kind of trauma, big T, little t trauma, if your body is in fight or flight, if you are, an anxious person, you've had sexual assault or trauma, which is so common for women, you have therapy is just a game changer. Do some EMDR therapy, find some trauma-informed therapists to work with you on this stuff, because talk therapy is great, but there's so many great modalities now that can help people move through trauma, because that will keep you from having the most pleasure. And then shame. Shame is a huge one. Like the shame that we have around our bodies, around sex, around being sexual. If we grew up in an environment that was particularly like shameful around sex, you don't just like shake that off once you're 18 and leave home. So that carries with people. We have shame around our bodies, things that we've done. So those are the thieves.
Okay.
You got to be mindful of those thieves.
I also want to encourage people to listen back to our first episode with you, which was during quarantine, right?
Yeah.
And that was a little more of the immediate what's going on in the room too. Like I always think about that. I think you said something like if there's a big pile of laundry that you're thinking you have to like put away, not the like shame, trauma, et cetera, but like what's stressing you out in your space.
Your space can stress you out too. It's so important. That's the self-awareness part, is like, do I know what needs to be happening in the environment for me to get ready for sex? You probably get a lot of questions about this too. Like, why aren't I in the mood anymore? How come I can't initiate, or I don't want to have sex with my partner as much? If our environment isn't set up, I mean, smart sex, like a lot of the book is getting people to think about what's going to get them ready for sex, because it's not just going to hit you over the head. I mean, sometimes it will early on. You want to have sex all the time, new relationship, you rip each other's clothes off every time you see each other. But eventually, sex is going to be something that you're going to have to sort of figure out what works for you, reverse engineer it. What's all the thing idea of the laundry away, the house has to be a certain temperature, my sheets have to be clean, right? Like I have to make sure the lube's out, the toys are charged, my neighbors are quiet, the blinds are down, like whatever it is. Those are so many different steps that need to happen. I have to finish this text to my person, whatever it is. If they're still lingering, going back to our first thing, it's going to be hard to be present. So if you're prioritizing sex and you know you want it to happen in your life, we've got to clear out all these other things to make sure you're ready for it.
Well, you said that you are into the idea of scheduling sex for that reason, because you can set all those things up and set the mood and do all the things that are blocking it in the first place. And I got this new bed yesterday. They put up my new bed, and it made me realize how the previous bed frame was creaky. And it shouldn't be. Your bed shouldn't like make sounds. No. And I was like, that's even a small thing. Like nothing takes you out of the mood more than like a creaky bed.
Exactly.
Something now I have this sturdier, better bed that I would be much more excited to have sex in than something that you get going too much and you're hearing like, it's like no one wants
to control
your environment.
Right?
Control your environment.
Yeah, exactly. Control the environment.
I want to talk about shame surrounding sex, because Ashley and I are so immersed in this, and so are you. So I'll talk about anything to anyone, and I forget that other people have shame around sex and that this is still such a prevalent thing. And Ashley and I were talking to somebody the other day who I would consider highly enlightened, somebody who's done a lot of self-work and therapy, and she said to us, I'm not comfortable with sex because it's not how I grew up. It was not normalized in my home. We gave her a copy of your book, actually, because you sent us a bunch.
Yeah, we had an extra.
I did.
Yeah.
And I was so amazed that somebody even so enlightened in my mind still felt so much shame around sex, and that it's like this one thing that's just in a box for her, and she's just like, I don't feel great about it, because I was raised with not a lot of positivity around sex. And I think it's really important to like normalize it. I forget that people feel so much shame around it still.
It's more common than, I'm really glad you brought that up, because I think probably a lot of your listeners are like going, oh yeah, like what do I do? You don't just like, I'll just fake it till I make it. Shame is a heady stew.
Yeah.
It has like this grasp on us.
Yeah.
And we really have to unpack it.
So can we talk about this desire inventory and the core desire, which I don't think I'd heard that term before. And then I'm trying to figure out what mine is and where it comes from and all this stuff. I think I know it, but.
Okay, so this is fun. The desire inventory.
Yeah.
So the desire inventory is basically, again, we're trying to hack your way into understanding who you are as a sexual being. So looking at the desire inventory, you can look at like, what do I need to be turned on? Like, what are the things that are in the environment? Like, maybe I need to have dirty talk. Maybe I need to have playful time with my partner. Like, we need to go for a hike together, or we need to play a game together. Maybe we need to role play. Maybe we need to, there's like 6 or 7 of them,
Yeah.
maybe 8. And then you rank those and you're like, oh, okay. So this is the thing that I require the most. Now that I know that, if I don't have that, well, then I'll understand why I'm not turned on. And maybe I should let my partner know what I do need. So it's just a way to think about it.
If you've never thought about it before, you know, like that's what's so great. It's like, and the way you lay it out is so easy to look at that and be like, oh, I like that. I need that.
Exactly.
I want that.
It's such a mystery to people. They're like, I don't know what turns me on. Like, I hope I'll be turned on tonight. You know, just, if we get in the bedroom, we close our eyes, like hope for the best. Like, why not be smart about it? We do that with every other area of our life.
I totally agree. And visualization for me, like, what do I think about when I masturbate?
Yeah.
What's happening? So,
Right.
like, when I masturbate, dirty talk is like the number one thing. Like, what is somebody saying to me is what really turns me on. Is their hand on my throat? Like, where are we? So, like, that's what really turns me on is the words somebody is saying to me during the sexual act. It almost doesn't matter what the sexual act is. So that's what I need. That's my desire inventory.
That's
Like,
so good.
it's peak for me. And if somebody is like really silent, it's very hard for me to get there.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering the whole time, are you enjoying this?
Yeah.
And I can't stop thinking about it. So what do you think is really important to you on your desire inventory?
Well, I kind of thought about the core desire too. Like, I just want someone to like not be able to get enough of me. And I'd like to be kind of told what to do, take control. Like, I don't want to boss someone around in the bedroom. I prefer that they take control of me. I know it sounds a little cliche, but Rayna and I run these 2 businesses. We're bosses in the streets. Like, I just want someone to kind of take control and know what they want and just be so obsessed with me and just think I'm like the hottest woman in the world. And I don't think that's strange, but I know people have different core desires in that. And
that's a great one though, to be desired, to
really,
be done. Yeah,
and
exactly.
it turns me on to think of like being in a public place. And you had said that that's part of it. It's like you want your partner to not be able to not have you right then, that they have to do it in like a public place or something that's not that traditional because they can't go one more second, you know? So yeah, the dirty talk as well. And just someone that feels that they're in control and they want me simultaneously so much, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think that's that rare.
No,
but
it's common. So can I tell you that I love that you guys have said this. And I think that, again, giving so many people permission, because that is one of the most common. I'm the same way. A lot of women we want, and men, all genders, want to be like desire. We want to feel like our partner wants us so badly that they can't help but like take us, ravish us, you know, be in charge, make the move, initiate. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And again, here's the thing you have to remember about sex is that it's still very much a new science. We haven't been studying it that long, a lot of misinformation out there. But there's a lot of reasons for that. If you want to get into this, like why women, I don't know if that's as interesting.
No,
but
I'd love to talk
women
about it. And you talked about like the masculine and feminine energies too, which I'm always super intrigued by.
Me too. I love that. I love all the masculine, feminine stuff. But also, like, if you felt shame around sex, like it wasn't okay to be sexual. Like, we didn't grow up in that environment, right? But many, like, they were told if you masturbate, you'll go to hell. Sex without, if it's not for procreation, is the wrong thing to do. And they heard that every day from somebody growing up. Just because they're 25 now and out living their life in the big city doesn't mean that there's not this voice in their head, right? So to have a partner that just takes them, they're absolved of any sexual shame. Like, in a way, they're like, I couldn't help it. I had to give it up. That's a part of it too. There's just the like letting go and for our egos and just feeling like someone wants us and not having to be in charge because all day long you guys are boss bitches running in a business and you got shit going on. It feels great. It's our egos. It's compliments. I mean, that's just hot. And just some people feel like they can't let go. They can't be their full selves. They want to take charge more, right? So we just have to know ourselves. And there is no right or wrong. And everyone wants to know if they're normal. Like, it's all okay. If it's consensual, you're not having pain. You know, I think most of this stuff is okay. And I just want to like encourage people just to kind of let go of whatever they're holding on to. Most of what you desire and want in the bedroom is totally okay.
I wrote this quote too that you said, if people have a similar sexual energy, it can kind of translate into a platonic vibe.
Yeah.
And the connection isn't there, which is something that I'm always thinking about because I do think both of us have a masculine energy in the streets because you know what we do, and then that's not what I want to do in the bedroom. And I like the notion that you can ebb and flow between the two, and like it's not always so set in stone, and this is the masculine, this is the feminine, and it can go back and forth and things like that. So I really love that part of the book. But that was an interesting take of like, this is why maybe even in dating, you know, not necessarily sexually why you could have such a great connection with somebody. You talk nonstop and you have all this stuff in common, but you don't want to fuck them.
Right, exactly. Because there's not the polarity. There's not the energy.
Polarity, right.
It's polarity. It's energetics. Is he or she, or whoever you're with, me, is he leading in some way? Is he making plans? Is he kind of like not opening the door, but whatever that version of that is he leading? Is he confident? That is the masculine energy, and we all have it in us. I'm also my masculine more so than not. But I have to like realize it's the vulnerability. Women, the feminine brings the energy. We bring the creativity. We bring the flow, and that masculine is more directed and purposeful. So how that shows up though, like before you go on a date, what could be a great thing to do is to make sure you're more in your feminine. Like, and what I do too, like with my partner, like I know that all day I'm running around business, doing this, and then I'm like, do some breath work. I take a shower, I'll take a steam, I will breathe, maybe I'll masturbate, I'll slowly put on some like body oil that makes me feel good. I might dance and move my body in ways that like make me feel more connected to my body. And I just sort of let go of the day. I definitely have to shower, wear something that makes me feel sexy too. Like I have just been wearing sweats in my Uggs in the house, and now we live together.
Right.
Like literally, it was hard to take my Uggs off today to get here, right?
I was thinking, you look so great today.
Thanks,
Like
babe.
wear a dress every once in a while, wear a skirt, wear a dress.
And it sounds, but it's for us. That's where the sexual energy comes from. And then he feels like he can, and it might, again, I go into it in the book, and for many people, they're like, what does that mean? Is it sexist? Or it's literally energy. It's you need opposites to attract. And if you're both in your feminine, you're both in your masculine, no one's getting laid.
Yeah, so this is just shake the day off, I went on this date a few weeks ago. I keep thinking about it. Like I was having a bad day. I was overworked. I was tired. All I talked about was work. And all he talked about was work. He's like a really like successful guy too. And he said to me at one point, like he said it more nicely than this, but like this is your whole personality. It's just like work, being the boss, being on the road, running these businesses. Like, this is what you're like, he basically said. And I could tell like, he was not turned on by it. And I am who I am, and I'm going to show up as who I am. But I think if I could do it all over again, maybe it would have been a little more like conscious not to drag this all up on a first date.
But you sometimes have to just have self-talk before any situation. Like, I've gone to dinners with girlfriends and been like, I didn't do my best. I talked about work the whole time. I was just stressed. It was on my mind. Like, that wasn't my best showing. And it happens on dates too. Like you said, the term shake it off. It's sometimes just that easy. And I also love in the book that you said, like, sometimes you need your partner to like make a dinner reservation, tell you who's picking you up, and this is where you're going. Yeah. That's so sexy. Just like, tell me what to do sometimes. Like, take control, made a reservation here. I'm picking you up at 7. We're going, as opposed to like, what do you want to do tonight, babe? What do you want to do? And then you're like waffling. Then you get in a fight. Now it's not sexy. No one's getting laid. So if you have to tell your partner that, you can. This turns me on when you do this.
Let him lead and encourage him. Like my partner did that a few weeks ago. He was like, sushi, 8 o'clock. I'm like, babe, and I tell him like 6 times so you remember. I was like, babe, that was really hot. Yeah. Can I tell you how much
positive reinforcement.
I love that you ordered sushi. I'm so glad we're at sushi. Like, I made a big fucking deal of it because it doesn't happen that often.
No, I love that.
It should happen more.
I love that. I think all the time about one of my girlfriends told me that she like tries to compliment her husband on his parenting skills because she's like, I want him to watch him sometimes. Yeah. I don't want to be at home all the time. And she was like, I have to let go sometimes and let him make the decisions. But I think about that a lot. And then you have to like compliment them on actually like taking charge. Yeah. Because I can steamroll you. I will steamroll you. I will pick the time and the restaurant and what we're doing. And like, I got to let go a little bit.
Man, this might be good. So I'm seeing you on your next date. Now that we're talking about it, maybe you consciously just let them do it. You let them take charge. See what happens. See what happens because the masculine wants to lead. They want to know where they can help. They want to know where they can be in their masculine. Not that they need to like, back in the day, they doesn't need to like pay your way and do all these things, but they want to feel that they could be a value added to your life somehow.
I like that. A value add. Everybody wants to feel they can be a value add to your life.
You got it all going on.
Like when someone tells me where to be, I just feel like a tingle. I'm like, don't ask me what I want to do. Tell me where to be.
Exactly. I'm the same. I do not want to plan.
If I'm going to hate it, yes, I'll push back, but I don't know what that would be.
The brig for a first date.
I guess for a first date. But like the Roosterfish, that was a good date.
It was, yes. But these are bars in Venice, by the way, we're talking about.
I just really like it. There was no harm in telling someone like how to be. And I had a situation with a guy recently where I was like, I think I'm just going to let him figure this out. Like there was something that just wasn't going right. And I was like, I think I'm just going to let him figure this out on his own. And like, I don't need to get into the weeds of the details of it all. But my normal prior to that instinct would have been like, I need to share how this makes me feel and what I'm doing and what we should be like. I took a step back and was like, I think he got a vibe. I think he knows where I'm at. And I think I'm just going to let him do this. And it like worked out. And then I felt like very turned on by that. Like I don't need to be someone's mom.
Right.
You
That
know?
is such a good way to put it. You don't need to solve anything. Like we can all do shit. Like that's the thing is like we can do things. We can change tires and make things happen, things break down. But like, yeah, to let it be like, I could fix a situation, whatever it was, like on the date if there was a problem, but you could be like, fix it. Or be like, oh yeah, I don't know. Like just let them lead. Let
Yeah.
them figure it out. I love that. That's
Yeah.
such a great example.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about communication, I do want to, again, encourage people to go back and listen to your last episode with us. I think it was April 2020, but you have this thing in the book, The 3 T's of Sexual Communication. So can we talk about those? We just love a takeaway on this show.
I love it. You guys have so many takeaways.
These are your takeaways.
I know, but I love your show. You guys are so good. You go
We
on
love
the
having you
road, and I
here.
follow you on Instagram. I love all the things you guys do.
You have to come to a show sometime.
I want to come to a
well,
show.
LA will be in November.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Okay, so 3 T's of communication. I created these 3 T's because, again, give advice all day long. And then people are like, no, but like, when do I tell my partner that I want them to go down on me more? Or when do I tell them they need to initiate more? How do I fucking do it? So the 3 T's of communication are great for really any awkward conversation you want to have, but let's do it for sex. So the first thing is timing. You want to find a time. The time has to be right. It is not when you're not lobbing it onto another fight you just had. I always say it's when you're not hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Just think about that. If you're any one of those things, it's not going to go well.
You couldn't.
Maybe
when
it's
you were hungry.
date night. And then the tone is curious and compassionate and open.
Okay.
It's not like defensive and no, why did you ever do this? And then the turf is outside the bedroom. You do not want to have these conversations about your sex life in the bedroom. And I know you think why wouldn't we? We're cooking, we're in the kitchen, and we're going to talk about a recipe. No, sex outside the bedroom. I love to recommend when you are on a road trip or you're going for a walk because then it's still intimate, but maybe eye contact is awkward. You don't want to do it, but it's still the conversation. So that's how you start it.
Emily, you changed my life a couple years ago when you were on the show.
I know,
I
Rayna.
talk about it all the time.
I do.
You were talking about where to talk about this, and I was like, I know. Right after sex, when you're in bed together, and Emily, you were like, "That is the worst place and the worst time you could do it." Is after sex. You're like, "Let's talk about something you did wrong in the bedroom."
You weren't doing that, were you?
I just thought that was a hot take.
Well, because that's what we assume. And you're like, okay, well, we just said this problem just happened again.
Oh my God,
you
right.
need to go down on me again. But I just think to keep
I just
it
thought we both had
sacred,
orgasms. We're
sleeping in
here.
sync. Yeah.
So you changed my life.
I love it, baby.
I love we like to talk about, what is it called when you're physically next to each other instead of looking at each other? It's like a thing. They say this for dates if you're a more shy person to go on a date that's a walk or that's
Okay.
something where you're not like having to stare someone down across a dinner table.
Yeah.
You know, so the same type of thing, conversations that might be quote unquote a little harder or give you a little more anxiety if you don't have to stare them in the face and you can be like walking, driving, like you said, like side by side, I guess,
side.
Yeah.
instead of face to face. There it is.
Yeah.
We got there.
Side by side. I think that's it.
Okay. And then in the book, there's these 69 questions, and those are to ask your partner, right?
They're just really fun questions
great.
to ask your partner so you get to know them better sexually. Actually, it's funny because I went with my partner this weekend and he like brought them. He's like, let's do this. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I wasn't really, I thought we were chilling right now. Okay. Yeah. But I loved it. It was so fun to do the questions together because you think we can't know any more about each other, but you always can. You always can. So open them anytime and learn about your partner. Talk about sex. Make it normal. Make it fun.
Totally.
And who doesn't want to know what to do? Like, I feel like there are so many people out there, just like guys, especially, they're like, tell me what to do. Every woman is different. Every
Yes.
person is different. But that's the thing we hear a lot. And what we see a lot is if we're talking about women and their male partners, where their male partner used to crush it in the bedroom with his ex-girlfriend and his new girlfriend doesn't like the same things. And what if we have one guest was like every woman's body is just a different roadmap with a different like treasure at the end.
So I was like third episode. I hate that guy, but yes,
Like it's
So
hard
true.
to
Oh, we heard it.
navigate.
That is exactly the problem is that he doesn't know. Like your partner, like I used to think that men knew. I don't know if you guys, I made an assumption that men knew what to do. Like that they kind of were like, that was part of their DNA. Like, oh, we know how to please a woman. I thought they were like shipped off to some school and like, that's what they learned. They don't know. Not only don't they know, they love feedback. Like you're saying, like they actually, like the right lovers, I think we're so afraid sometimes that we're going to be going back to the shame. A lot of us are afraid that if we know what we want, that we're going to be judged. Oh, she's been with so many people that she knows.
Well, I have.
Right, exactly. Well, this is
You're
a great
welcome.
attitude. Yeah, thank you. You should thank them. Write them thank you letters, right? But again, for some people who feel like
I know.
but that's where it
I
comes
love
in.
feedback. I think I will never forget. I gave Roadhead once to this guy who I'd given a lot of blowjobs to previously, but I think he wanted to like finish the blowjob and he said, twist your hand back and forth when you're going up and down my dick, basically. And I was like, you want that? That's a thing I'm going up and down just normal and you want me to twist and I had no idea. So like that feedback like blew my mind. I I was like the emoji. I was just like, I can't believe you wanted this the whole time.
But then the next guy, you start twisting. He's like, babe, quit twisting. Like,
Exactly.
quit twisting. And then
We're
you're like,
all
well, thanks for
different.
telling me. Because I feel like we hear women say like, can you believe this guy did this thing? I'm like, someone probably liked it.
Exactly.
And so just tell
Not write people off. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but someone's bad kiss or a bad sex in the beginning, I don't think that's a right. You liked everything else about them, but maybe it was awkward. Maybe their last partner liked that thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that the first time you're with someone, you can be like, well, it was bad sex and I'm over. That's
Not at
my
all.
opinion.
No. The first sexual experience, there's also, they can be great and that's awesome too. And we've all experienced that, but you just can't judge it
No, you can't.
based on that.
No, they're definitely going off of what they learned in the past.
Absolutely.
Like I have like proof of that. Like I have an ex that there was a lot of nerves involved. We really liked each other. We had waited a little bit, like longer than it was normal for me to have sex. It just was bad. And I was like, oh no, what a bummer. But I liked him so much. And the next weekend, it was incredible. Like it was just even just the one get it over with bad sex. And the literal next time was great. So
You never would have had it if you were just like, oh my
Yeah.
God, he didn't know. That's
Yeah.
good. Healthy.
Want to do some fun sex
some
tips?
sex stuff.
Because it's so much mental help in the book, but also you do this fun anal stuff, sex positions.
A lot of anal.
Solo sex tips for full body orgasms. Where should we start?
There's so much.
What are solo sex tips for full body orgasms?
Yeah, masturbation. I mean, honestly, it's like solo sex, masturbation is such an important practice for your overall wellness that like people just don't think to do it. Okay, so men, I often don't have to remind them to masturbate. I'm like, dude, you're like at Walgreens, like put that away. Like you're masturbating, stop. But for women, sometimes they're like, I don't need to, or I have a partner, or it's not important. And so I give a lot of tips in there for like how to touch yourself in different ways, how to explore. Like I used to think that I just could only have a clitoral orgasm until I started experimenting with toys, with having multiple orgasms. So I talk about how to have multiples, which I think is possible for every woman. You can have multiple orgasms. If you've never had anal, you could also on your own experiment with anal.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about meditate, masturbate, manifest, which is another practice of mindful masturbation when you are in that place of pleasure and you're meditating and you're masturbating. In that moment when you're orgasming, if you like think of what you want to happen in the future in that moment.
We do
you're in a
this.
place
This is
you do?
that's how the sex toy company happened. I used to just like masturbate and think about it and
I
like put
love
energy
it.
towards it.
That is freaking amazing.
Like as I was coming, I'm like, we're gonna do this.
I love. There you go.
I'm huge on
Manifesting, but when you do it
masturbation.
with your sexual energy, you bring your sexual energy into the mix
just
of
like hold a
masturbation.
crystal and you're just set for
That's
life.
it. Seriously though, you got it. Anyway, there's a lot of different tips for penises, for vulvas, for everybody in there.
Okay.
I've been having multiple orgasms recently. Do I ever tell you
On
about
your
this?
own?
On my own.
Okay.
I have to take some time off. I have
Yeah.
to take like 4 days off, 5 days off, but then I could just,
Got it.
just don't stop. Just have the orgasm and keep going. Just keep going.
It's exciting. I know.
Well, I passed 2 nights manual masturbation orgasm. Like, listen, we have a sex toy company. Like, we can't recommend them enough. I love sex toys so much, like alone with a partner, but I think you sometimes need to just touch yourself.
Yeah.
And especially if you're planning on like being with another human, you know, that's kind of maybe not going to use a sex toy on you. I think it's just helpful to kind of every
know
once
your
in a while
body.
mix it up. Yeah.
Exactly. Mix it up with toys, with your hands, and like learn what actually feels good to you. So I give different suggestions and tips on how to kind of start to navigate your own body. We just get set in our ways. We hit it and quit it, and which is nothing wrong with that. I'm glad you're just hitting it. But how do you explore? How do you expand your orgasmic potential,
Okay.
your arousals?
What is the A spot? Because we know the G spot, and you talk about the G spot a lot, but
is the anterior fornix. So the A spot is between your cervix and your G spot, and it's in the anterior part of the vagina. And there's a diagram in the book, and essentially, it's just another one of those nerve endings inside of us that when we are really turned on and aroused and breathing and experimenting and open, you can find these other spots.
so how are we getting to that?
We're getting there with a toy
Okay.
or a penis
Okay.
or a finger. And you would just sort of go inside and you would just sort of start to apply pressure. And it helps always. Just let me tell you this. If you want to have a G-spot orgasm or nipple orgasm, it really helps to have a clitoral orgasm first in every situation.
Okay.
So knock that out. If you're going to knock it out. Like
Yeah.
it's easy for many people to have a clitoral. Just have a clitoral orgasm.
Right.
Use a vibrator, your toy. Have that. And then start to just like breathe and sort of bring that sexual energy up after orgasm into your body. Like really, it's all energy and it's all circulating and it's all your pelvic floor. So those pelvic floor muscles, like the Kegels, which are so important to do, if you pump those muscles, like those are the muscles that like get responsible for orgasm. But when you pump them, like you tense them and relax them, you're sort of like sending out more energy from the orgasm, right? So you're starting to build that arousal through your body. And then you can go inside with a finger, a penis, a toy, and always use lube, and start to explore and just sort of see and go slow and kind of move your finger around and see where else you feel pleasure and where else you feel pain. Because sometimes there's also pain in there, but that's a separate thing.
We did a whole episode
with pain.
about pain.
That's a separate episode.
Yeah.
About the pain, because a lot of people have pain.
Yeah.
But here's just pleasure. And then keep applying, like leave your finger there. And it's like I said, there's pictures. You'll start to feel that there's other areas that feel great to you. And then you would just apply pleasure to that, and keep applying, and you might have an incredible orgasm.
Okay. And then the G spot, the method, if you're on your own with your finger, is to like go in and do like a come here. So can a penis really hit that?
Not really.
Not so much.
Okay. That's the big misconception about so my theory, and I like to call it the G area. I want to rebrand it, like named after this guy named Grafenberg who didn't have a G spot, didn't have a vagina.
Right.
It was all, men researching this at the beginning, but that's fine. So the G spot is really more of an area, and it's inside your vaginal opening. And I think it's clitoral nerves because, the clitoris has, in the middle of writing the book, it has 12,000 nerve endings.
Yeah.
I thought it was 8. Did you hear this? You probably did. It was like
I've learned it from multiple books, but I never knew before that.
Yeah, right.
I feel like someone else said this too. Like
Emily
a
Nagoski
guest
said
was
it on
like
her show.
the G area gets clit extension.
It's clit extension. Oh yeah, she did good. I love that Emily said that. Good.
Oh, I don't know if she said
I don't want
that.
to attribute to her, but somebody also said like your clit is the entire area around your it's a lot of area.
We're calling it clit extension.
Yeah, it's the clit extension. I love that. The clit
extension.
Like,
Clit
download
extender.
it for free.
Yeah, download it.
Download it for free. Get out your sex toys. You guys can use it for your sex toy store. Okay. So the thing is, so you have your clitoris, which is the little button, right? So yeah, you're turned on, but then you realize, so the clitoris. So here it is, right? The wishbone. So here's the, and you guys know this, but just in case, the labia. So here's your labia, but behind the labia is the crua, and those are the legs to the clitoris. So that's why the labia feels really great when massaged as well. But if you go in here, the G spot is like right tucked behind. It's like right behind your clitoris.
Okay.
So to answer that question, you apply pressure there. So the problem with a lot of sex is when the penis is just going inside, it is missing that area.
The G spot. Okay.
But if you're grinding on top,
Yes,
and you're moving around,
it's turned on already,
or your legs are clenched around them. Like I don't know if you want to share how you guys orgasm
on top. Yeah.
Essentially, it's not because his penis is hitting this area in the
Not
back.
at all.
That's why size. People are obsessed with size. I'm like, it's not really about the size. Not that you can't love size, of course, but for the majority of women, like 2 inches would do it. Like 3 inches, because it's like there. But what we're saying though is it's the grinding. It's not because of the penetration. So I think I just want to rebrand that too. That it's probably not going to happen if he's just pounding away at a jackhammer and you're lying back and like there's no rubbing, grinding.
Well, that's so funny because I used to watch porn and they bounce, and I'm scoot.
Yeah,
all day.
That's right, the scoot.
Wait, exactly, dude. Bouncing is nothing.
Wait, what's bouncing doing? The scoot.
When a man is laying down, I'm on top of it. I'm scooting. I'm not bouncing.
Yeah.
The only time I'm bouncing is if he's sitting up and I'm straddling somebody, and then I can bounce a little more.
Right.
But yeah, I'm having an orgasm by like dragging my clit across your body.
Exactly.
The scoot.
The scoot.
But also it's like that matters how your bodies fit together too. Like I used to hook up with this guy, the stuffed animal guy, and something about, I guess, his pelvic bone hit mine. We didn't fit together well. Like his dick was great, but it was something like what I would normally was used to getting off. I could still do it, but like our bodies right there didn't match really well. You wanted to fit together like a puzzle piece and like kind of be able to grind back and forth. And I had like a bruise almost. I was like, what's he got going on down there? So it was like, it had nothing
Like
to do with the
bony
penis.
pelvic bone or something?
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes
like,
our bodies don't work.
but again, that just to reiterate that it's not the penis. It's like
No.
that was blocking the issue. It was the top front.
The top front.
The top part. Yeah, exactly.
Very technical on this show.
Yeah. And I love your rebranding of anal and its rear entry. Like I will never be able to see something that says rear entry again. Like I'm going to see a sign that says like rear entry, enter through the back, and I'm just going to think of you.
Good.
But I like the rebranding.
Rear entry. I think I called doggy style rear entry.
Yeah.
But anal, I want to rebrand
But anal
anal.
is rear entry. It's like
it
the
is.
rear. Like
Yeah, I have friends who always send me rear entry signs when they're somewhere. Like, I'm thinking about you. Like, it's true. So I would love if you text me when you see that. I just think the names too, like anal and like doggy style, like there's just so many bad names when it comes to sex. It just turns us off. It's just true. But yeah, anal too is like such taboo still. I'd say that still is like a taboo area for many, but I think also it's just really misunderstood. So I really put a lot of details in the book about how to do it right, how to receive, how to give, how to experiment on your own. And that really just the anus is another part of our body with a lot of nerve endings that feel great when stimulated if done in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly breathing, using lube.
I had a friend that told me, and I love this tip. We did a whole episode with Dr. Evan Goldstein, and he was great. We loved
fantastic.
him.
I love
He was
Evan.
on your show, right?
Yeah.
So I have a friend that was like, I don't do like full penetrative anal. I let him like press his dick against my butt a little bit, and I do some dirty talk, and then we just fuck.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do like full penetrative anal, bang, bang, bang. You know, you can just play with the area a little bit.
Exactly. Just the tip of the anal.
Well,
right?
that was our whole thing with blowjobs, where we did a whole blowjob episode. If you guys are curious and you want more than that, it was a popular episode. If you can believe it. And I think when you're younger, you have this thing of you have to finish it, and are you going to spit? Or are you going to swallow? Oh my god, this is so stressful. And it can just be foreplay.
Yeah.
Like I say that I love shower sex, but it's more shower foreplay. Like there's so many things that are just turn-ons that aren't necessarily include the finale also. And like, I mean, I love to have someone go down on me, but it's usually not the way I'm climaxing also. That's just part of the foreplay.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
the same thing with that. Sometimes it's just going around the area. This isn't like anal sex coming. It can be just foreplay, but also anal sex coming is great too.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah,
I don't want any of it, but a little bit of foreplay, I could at least deal with it. You can do some fun dirty talk around it, like tell me where your dick is, things like that. Whose asshole is this?
I love that you know yourself so well.
Do you ever find, I'm just curious about this, like with partners, do you ever find them being intimidated because you have all the information, all the tools, all the experience?
You know, it's so funny. I get asked that question a lot, and I don't know that they do. I mean, maybe they are. I think I asked them afterwards, like, yeah, I was nervous, but they don't seem like that nervous because I think the people, once they get to my door, I'm like, we've already been vetted. They're confident enough.
Even average men have more confidence than the most amazing woman on the planet.
Yeah.
They're like, I got this. She's going to love an orgasm.
I think some men do. They're like, I know that I'm really, some guys are like, I'm the master. Like, just wait till I meet her. So, yeah, I mean, I think the right guys are like, okay, that's cool. Like, at first they might be intimidated, but I'm like, I'm a normal, like, I'm not.
Totally. You don't give off intimidation.
No,
Sorry to ask you a basic
the fact
question.
that I have like literally hundreds of vibrators in my room.
Yeah.
They're all like color coded and charged and have these special contraptions. That could be intimidating, but they're hidden and anyway.
I think we're coming away from that a lot. Like, I think there's a lot of information out there. 10 years ago, oh my gosh, I feel like a guy would have been so put off by a vibrator in the room. It's like implying they can't take care of business. And I think we've gotten to a much better place where this is just an enhancement to the whole experience.
Exactly. Like we got a bunch of nerve endings on our body that feel great when stimulated by vibration for penises too. Like I even tell people too, like you guys have your vibes, like and you probably say this too, but it's okay if it's a clitoral vibrator, but like use it on the shaft when you're giving a blowjob, use it in the perineum, like use it on your nipples, like just hold it in your hand, like any vibe will do. And I do think it's way less stigma that men are like, oh my God, she's gonna break up with me for the vibrator. It's like, we're all here to have pleasure, okay? And it can't cuddle either, so I'm not gonna
cuddling your vibrator. Just like wrapped around.
You can't pay for dinner.
Spooning.
No, it can't pay for dinner.
Well, our vibrators pay for our dinners.
That's a good point.
Actually.
I was going to say it can't buy me a car, but I guess these vibrators did buy me that car too.
Keep selling them.
Okay. Anything else?
I just think the book is great and people should buy it. I mean, you're so full of a wealth of information. Your show's phenomenal. Everything you do is just great. I really encourage people to find you. So tell people everywhere that they can find you.
Okay, Smart Sex out tomorrow wherever you buy your books. And it's Sex with Emily. My podcast comes out 2 times a week wherever you are listening to podcasts. Sex with Emily on all social media. I'm launching a new store too on our website. You can check that out. I have a Sex IQ quiz. Everyone can take a Sex IQ quiz to see where you're at on the Sex IQ spectrum. And that's it.
Can I tell you one funny anecdote about the book? So our copies are not final. It says uncorrected proof, not for sale, whatever. So
you tell her the thing I sent you last
I'm
night?
going to say it. It's your joke.
Well, I was reading the table of contents, and yes, there are copies that are not released yet. They're older copies, I guess. And it was a chapter on how to give better oral. And it said starts page 166. And the next chapter started at page 292. And I was like, am I about to get 130 pages of dick sucking tips? This is amazing.
Here it is. No, it's totally. I mean, again, it says on the cover uncorrected proof, but it's so funny that it's like Rayna caught that it's like the blowjob chapter is going to be from 166 to 292. And she was like, Emily, what an icon.
130 pages on sucking dick. It's amazing.
Did you guys get the final copies?
Yeah, we did.
I feel like we're giving away. That's awesome.
No, I love an uncorrected proof, actually. I kind of like it. You feel like you're really like on the journey.
Funny.
Yeah. And just your Instagram in general is just a great follow.
Instagram. It's all Sex with Emily. Follow me. Send me your questions. I'm here for you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
And you guys know where to find us, girlsgottaeat.com. Get tour tickets and find all of our episodes and merchandise. You can follow us on Instagram at Girls Gotta Eat Podcast, also on TikTok at Girls Gotta Eat Podcast. I'm Ash Hess. Rayna is Rayna.Greenberg. And of course, Vibes Only, vibesonly.com and Vibes Only on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Tell a friend. Share this episode. Have better sex. And we'll see you next week.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.